We always begin with gratitude. So I want to thank you for being here and for doing whatever it is that you needed to do in order to be here, to be present, and to show up here. I am LA. I'm a holistic wellness therapreneur and the creator of this channel, Reconnect with You. I will be posting videos every Sunday for hashtag Solitude Sunday. Content will be wellness related and will include sound baths, tips related to mental health, and short talks focused on you and your relationship with yourself, which is the foundation for all of your other relationships. Are you ready to reconnect with you? If so, come on in, take your shoes off, and get comfortable. For those of you that are new to this channel, welcome. I am so grateful to have you here. For those of you who are returning, welcome back. Just to give you an overview of our time together today, I'm going to start off just by cleansing the space, and I do that with a short sound bath. And then I pull an affirmations or an oracle card for the collective. Then we'll transition into the short talk, and I'm going to close off with a reflection or a journaling prompt or question. You can see the description or the timestamps in the description box. For today's sound bath, I will be using a crystal quartz singing bowl, which you can see here, and it is in the musical key or note of B, which corresponds to the crown chakra. Some of the focuses of the crown chakra are related to attachment, your intuition, and your connection with your higher self. So I'm going to give you a second to get into your meditation position. If you would like, you can also put in some headphones for an optimal sound experience. Let's begin. I trust my intuition. I am detaching from everything that no longer serves me. I am guided by my higher self. Thank you for joining me for that very short sound bath. Before we jump into today's topic, I'm going to pull an oracle card for the collective. And I'm going to be using my new oracle deck. It is the Moonology Oracle deck. And I will include the link in the description box for where you can find that if you're interested in that. Let's see if I've gotten better at my shuffling since last time. All right. What message does the collective need right now? What message does the collective need right now? What message does the collective need right now? All right, one more shuffle. Uh-oh. I'm actually gonna do that over. I told y'all I'm struggling a little bit with my shuffling. All right. So on the top of the deck, we have the waxing moon, and it says the energy is gaining momentum. On the bottom of the deck, we have full moon in Leo. Don't let pride get in your way. All right, so I don't know who that message is for, but I encourage you to take that message however it resonates for you. The topic for today's Ramble and Reconnect, or for the short talk, is releasing victimhood. And I wanted to talk about this because I think that it's important, especially as we are still at the beginning of a new year and many of us set some intentions for the new year. I'm aware that some people operate in victimhood, and they, including myself, and aren't even aware of it. I recently sat down and did some journaling just about some of the personal experiences that I've had, and I was journaling for between 7 and 8 hours straight. It was really important to me to, as I am in a period of introspection and spiritual growth, personal growth, it was really important to me to try to reframe some of the experiences that I've had. So I started by basically making a list of all of the experiences that I've had that I would characterize as traumatic. The reason I did that is because a lot of times when I tell my story, or when I'm kind of talking to people about who I am and where I come from, I will say things like, oh, I have a very extensive trauma history, which is true. But doing this journaling, this really forced me to look in the mirror and to think about, well, who am I if I'm not tethered to my trauma, or if my identity is not connected to that of trauma. Doing the journaling that I did, first of all, I'll tell you, it was pretty exhausting because it took a lot of mental strength, and it also required me to go back in time, so to speak, and to recall a lot of the experiences that I've had, especially early childhood experiences. It helped me to get to know myself and to know my pain in a very intimate way, and it also helped me to notice the meaning that over the course of my life that I've derived from the experiences that I've had. I had to recall a lot of experiences. Some of my experiences include being molested when I was younger, abandonment issues, being bullied, those types of things. What I found is that at different points in my life, when I've talked about the things that have happened to me and just the way in which I've tried to understand those things, it has been a lot of finger pointing and a lot of blaming. And I would say things like, oh, well, it's my mom's fault for not protecting me. It's my dad's fault for leaving me. Or this person hurt me. This person broke my heart, so it's their fault. And when I sit with myself and sit with my experiences, I really try not to even use terminology like blame and fault. Those terms have negative connotation. The other thing is that this process of knowing and understanding ourselves, it's about understanding. It's about the meaning that we make. It's not about blame or fault. When we focus on blaming others, or even blaming ourselves, right, it keeps us in a place of stagnation where we don't have to, when you're finger pointing, when you're blaming others, you don't have to accept responsibility. You don't have to address the ways in which your experiences have shaped who you are, or to even do anything to change your behavior, because it's this person's fault, it's that person's fault. And I met with a holistic doctor recently, and I was talking to her about some things that have happened to me in my life, and I said to her, everything happens for a reason. And she corrected me. She said, everything happens for your good. And when she said that, I said, okay, I receive that. I receive that, because I think that resonates more as I'm continuing to really do some self-interrogation, interrogate my experiences and releasing victimhood for myself, I want to provide you with a few tips on how you can release victimhood, or just some of the ways in which you might go about doing that. The first tip I have for you is pay attention to the language that you use when you are telling your story to others, or when you describe your experiences. As I was saying in the beginning, when I talk to people about where I come from and the things that I've been through, there's a lot of focus on the trauma that I've experienced. And the reality is that every single experience that I've had, good and bad, have shaped who I am today, who's sitting right here in front of you. And if it had not been for those experiences, I would not be here. I wouldn't be where I am right now. I would not see things the way that I see things. And so really pay attention to the language that you use when you're telling others, your story. The second tip that I have for you is to think about the times when you have looked at yourself as a victim. And I want you to reframe being a victim. Instead of viewing yourself as a victim, view yourself as an observer of your experiences. View yourself as a creator. View yourself as a manifester, because that's what you are, right? Because when you use those terms, then you are in a place of empowerment. The third and last tip that I have for you is, and I'm saying this to myself and I'm saying this to you, try not to be angry at your circumstances. As I took a trip down memory lane and I was recalling some of the things that have happened to me, including some things that I experienced as a child, it brought up a lot of emotions for me. One of which was, it includes anger. But you have to understand something when you begin this journey, or as you're on this journey of releasing victimhood, and that is different negative experiences that you've had. You might look at those experiences and you may have even said to yourself or said to someone else, well, how could this happen to me? How could this person do this to me? And the thing about it is that these things are not happening to you. They are happening for you. Now, you may not fully understand that, or you may not be able to see the bigger picture at that time, but these things, all of the experiences that you've had, are happening for you. They're happening for your good. But I also want to leave you with something to think about and reflect on, whether that be through journaling, or whether that just be in conversations with other people, or whether that be silently to and with yourself. During the journaling that I mentioned at the beginning of the talk, where I was really in the zone, y'all. I sat there for a very long time to recall a lot of the experiences that I had. And what I did after I made the list of each of those negative experiences is, by each of those experiences, I wrote out, how did this experience help me? What did I gain from this experience? What did I learn from this experience? So the journaling or reflection prompt that I want to leave you all with is, I want you to think back to a time when you felt like you were a victim, or when you might have viewed yourself as a victim. And I want you to ask yourself, how did this experience help me? What did I learn or gain as a result of that experience? And I want to give you a bit of a disclaimer. Some of the experiences that I personally wrote about, it was very, very difficult for me to find any kind of positive meaning or any kind of benefit that I might have gotten from that experience. It can be difficult for you to find anything positive in it. But as someone who has experience, and I don't think I'm special in that way. I don't think that I'm the only one that has experienced a lot of trauma. It can be done. It just takes a lot of patience, a lot of compassion, and a lot of reflection. Well, that is all I have for y'all today. Thank you again so much for being here. I look forward to connecting with y'all again soon. But in the meantime, reconnect with you. Namaste.